Hey guys, it's Melanie. So I am continuing my Best of 2020 series today, and we are talking makeup. Now, makeup, I definitely still mention makeup quite a bit on my channel because it's something that I really love. Doing my makeup every single day is a way that I just do some simple self-care. It makes me happy. I don't wear makeup for other people. In fact, most days, I don't even leave the house, but I still put on my makeup because it just makes me happy and it gives me some time to myself. Sometimes I will do some just enormously overdone makeup look. Sometimes I will just do something super simple, and everything in between. But I love it. I love playing with color. I love the way that I can change the shape of my face, the angles, how I can make my eyes look totally different just by, doing my crease work a little bit differently. It's so fun. And it's just an enjoyable time for me to do my makeup. So, that being said, I struggled a little bit with how to share my favorite makeup from the last year because there were definitely a lot of things that I absolutely loved. And I thought it might be best to share my favorite makeup brands from the last year and share maybe just one or two things from those brands that really kind of rocked my world. I have to admit, I don't really have a lot of crazy affordable makeup here. I tend to be a splurger when it comes to makeup, just like when it comes to skincare. I do think there are some great makeup brands at the drugstore. I do definitely have a preference for cruelty-free makeup brands, as well as skincare brands and hair care brands and just all around. I tend to prefer cruelty-free. It does limit me a little bit more at the drugstore, but amazing brands like CoverGirl, for example, went cruelty-free. I don't think it was last year. I think it was actually maybe the year before that they went cruelty-free. But it is my great hope that the rest of the drugstore brands follow suit because I don't think that it's a necessity to test on animals. I think at this point, test on the people, We know the general safety guidelines. I just think it's unnecessary, but that's a whole other tirade. So today for you, I'm gonna be sharing my top favorite brands from the last year and giving you just a suggestion or two from each that I really enjoyed, and let's dive into it. I'll put links for everything down below. I'm gonna start with brand number one, which is Hourglass. There's so much that I love from Hourglass. Their mascara, fantastic. Their lip products, fantastic. Their blushes, love their blushes. I think they are definitely some of my favorites. Their ambient lighting powders, gorgeous. This palette right here was something that I kind of got later on in the year, but just fell in love with it. And this is the eyeshadow. What am I doing? Where's the palette? You'll see here in a second why I got the two confused. Similar packaging. The eyeshadow is great. Don't get me wrong. By the way, this is the graphic eyeshadow palette in Expose. Super lovely. I'll link this down below as well because that's great. But this is the ambient lighting palette in Diffused Edit. In here, I got my favorite ambient lighting powder, which is Diffused Light. I also got the Euphoric Fusion blush. And I also got the Luminous Bronze in Light. Now, admittedly, I've not been using the bronzer quite yet because it's winter. I don't use bronzer a ton, but I definitely don't use bronzer in the winter. But you guys, just the powders in general from Hourglass are to die for. They stay put all day long. They give a lit from within glow. They don't ever accentuate my pores. They don't settle into my fine lines, and they make my skin look beautiful. All of the things that I want and need, I'm here for Hourglass. I'm excited to see what they come out with this year. It's a fantastic brand. It is expensive, but I can tell you if there's something that you really want, I think it's worth saving up for. Absolutely. Viseart. My hands down favorite eyeshadow in the whole wide world is Viseart. This year there were so many great palettes that came out. The Violet Entendu, fantastic. I love it. And then my go-to forever always favorite, the Viseart Grande Pro 1. I bought this, has it been a couple years ago now? I don't know how long I've had this, but it is my holy grail, all-time favorite matte eyeshadow palette. If I ever lost this, it's $150, but you bet your butt that I would replace this immediately. I would march myself into, well, I wouldn't march myself into Sephora because they don't carry it in store, but I would march myself to my computer and I would immediately reorder this because it is the one thing that I never ever put away in my Shop My Stash series, which I will do again this year, I promise. It's just the one that never gets put away because it's one that I always end up reaching for at least 3 to 4 times a week, at least. It's a must. I love it. I love the Violet Entendu. The Midsummer palette that they came out with this year, the Paris edit, all of the edits were fantastic. I can't say enough good things about the Viseart eyeshadows. I absolutely adore them, and I'm so excited to see what they come out with this year, and I will continue to support the brand for as long as they make these amazing eyeshadows that blend so easily, have amazing color payoff, have very little fallout, wear all day long, and by the way, their eyeshadow primer, also fantastic. Excellent to pair with their shadows, but I mean right now I'm using the Fenty eyeshadow primer and the Viseart works like a charm with that too, but yeah, just amazing. Love it. I think it's a must-try brand for sure. Obviously their palettes are a little bit more expensive, but what are you gonna do? Speaking of eyeshadow, eyeshadow really is my favorite thing to play with. If I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's the one thing that I'm just like immediately drawn to when I go into Sephora or to Ulta. I always go look at the palettes. They just make me happy. I think about what color combinations I would do. I think about maybe shades that I would toss out and maybe replace in the palettes. It's a fun thing that I like to do in my head. Natasha Denona. I really am enjoying these eyeshadows as well. It's a brand that took me a long time to get into. She's had her stuff out for a while and it took me a while. I started with the Lila palette, loved it. When the Glam palette came out this year, I thought, did she just make a palette for me? Because these are Melanie colors. I prefer more cool toned shadows. This gave me life. It really did. I love this palette. It's gorgeous. I think it's a must try, especially if you tend to gravitate towards cooler shades. But I also think that she does bright colors really, really well. These are beautiful. They wear very well throughout the day. They provide a wonderful amount of pigmentation. They look good on my eyes, and they're so just natural and just easy to wear. This is an easy palette to wear. Now, the other palette that I kind of picked up towards the end of the year, admittedly, I haven't really tried anything besides her eyeshadows, but I can tell you her eyeshadows rock. So I picked this up on a whim. It's the Mini Zendo palette, and it's gorgeous, you guys. When I look at this, I think, I don't know that all of this makes sense to me, but when I get it on my eyes, it totally makes sense. Like, she's kind of a color genius in that way, I guess, in that I would never necessarily pair these together, but I've used every single one. Hello. Sorry, my camera thought I was done talking. Obviously I was not. Anyway, let's get back to the Natasha Denona Mini Zendo palette here. So, yeah, you guys, I think I was saying, it's been a few minutes. I think I was saying that I wouldn't necessarily have thought to pair these particular shades together in a palette, but they really do work, and they work well together. And I have really enjoyed the eye looks that I have created with this particular one. Again, I think the Natasha Denona eyeshadow formula is just incredibly blendable. It's easy to work with. I really enjoy the pigmentation, and I appreciate the fact that there was a cool tone palette released. That is something that I'm always gonna be excited about, and I give mad props to her for doing it. Okay, so next is my beloved Laura Geller. Now, Laura Geller is a brand that I am not hearing anything about really from anyone anymore on YouTube. I remember when she came out with her baked gelato highlighters, everyone who uses highlighter like it's going out of style was like, "What? It's the best thing ever." Yeah, people loved it, and they were beautiful. I am not your highlight girl. I've talked about this before. Highlighter is, I feel like it's overdone by a lot of people. And I really try hard not to be judgy about makeup, but that you know, streak of highlight on the cheekbone and the tip of the nose, like that whole look, I feel like it's finally kind of starting to fade away, and people are using much more reasonable amounts of highlighter. Things are looking a little bit more natural again, and I don't know, it's just my personal preference. Obviously, if you want to highlight your entire face, you should do that. It's what makes you happy, right? I just think for me personally, it really does accentuate the look of pores and fine lines, and you just really have to be careful with the amount that you use, and make sure that you're choosing the right type of highlighter for your skin. For me, the glowiest or highlightiest, I just made that word up, as I go are the ambient lighting powders from Hourglass, like I mentioned. They're beautiful. They are a lit from within glow, which I think tends to look the most natural. So, but anyway, back to Laura Geller. Not much talk about Laura Geller anymore, and it really kind of bums me out because I feel like her brand might be struggling. One of the products that I have loved of hers for a number of years that I still talk about frequently on my channel are her Balance and Brighten powders. Now, I will admit, it's a powder foundation, by the way, if you're not familiar. The shade range is pretty atrocious. It's a very small shade range. I don't think that she really embraces very many different tones. I feel like a lot of her products tend to lean a lot more pink or beige rather than warm yellow, which is my personal skin tone. I have a lot of yellow undertones. With the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten, which is still my top favorite powder foundation, I use the shade Fair. It's not the right tone for me. It's very beige. And I do have to color correct it. But the reason that I love it so much is it just provides the most beautiful look and finish to my skin, and it wears all day, and it's beautiful. I correct it by going over top with usually another brand of powder foundation that has a better color match to me, and it will help to adjust this. But there's just something about the look and the feel of the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten that I think is just absolutely beautiful. And I really wish that she would expand the shade range. I always have this constant fear that Laura Geller is eventually just going to be like, all right, I'm done with this, and just walk away, and then I will never be able to get Balance and Brighten again, which is why I continue to test new powder foundations. So Fenty is the latest one that I tried. If you missed that review, I'll definitely link it down below. But yeah, I also really like the Laura Geller blushes. I think she also has great lip products, although I haven't tried a ton of those. I think her eyeshadows are great too. They're not the most pigmented. They are also usually that baked formula as well. This is a baked powder foundation, by the way. It starts its life out as a cream product, and I think that's actually part of the reason why it looks so beautiful on the skin and why it just melts into the skin. A lot of people who follow me who have a drier skin type also love Laura Geller Balance and Brighten, because I think it does start its life as a cream. So it doesn't ever look dry or cakey or too matte or gross on the skin. It looks like your skin, but better. And yeah, I love it. I have lots of other favorite powder foundations as well, but this is the one that I just always kind of tend to go back to. And I couldn't let a favorites go by without mentioning it. It's really, really good. If you're curious about all of my other powder foundations that I really love as well, I will be doing a video, kind of an updated, like current favorite powder foundations video a little bit later on this month, so that will be coming. And I will also give you some tips and tricks on making it look as natural as possible, because I know some people are afraid of powder foundation. They think that it looks dry or cakey or that it can't look good on the skin. It absolutely can. I think you need some practice, just like you did with liquid foundation, right? Like that didn't always go on perfectly either in the beginning, right? When you were starting to wear it. So you gotta play with makeup sometimes to find the best way to make it work for you. And this one, I love it. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. All right. And the last brand that I wanna mention, and again, there are other brands that I could totally toss in here in a yearly favorites as well, but I'm trying to keep this somewhat manageable. Charlotte Tilbury. There's a lot of things that I really enjoy from Charlotte Tilbury. Her setting powder I think is absolutely fantastic. It goes pretty quickly though. I think that's one of the fastest setting powders that I've ever used up, but it's beautiful. I love it. But really the product that I love from Charlotte Tilbury the most are her lip products. Specifically Pillow Talk. I have it here in several different formats. I actually also have just the regular lip gloss as well. This is the latest addition to my collection here. This is her Pillow Talk in the Collagen Lip Bath, which feels amazing on the lips, by the way. But I also have it in this kind of skinny version. I think this is called like the Superstars, I don't know. And then obviously the original Pillow Talk, which is from the Matte Revolution. This is actually what I have on my lips today. Pillow Talk is just, for me, it's the Your Lips But Better color. It's very similar to my actual lip shade. The matte formula is gorgeous. It doesn't ever dry my lips out. It doesn't look cakey or gross. It doesn't accentuate dry patches on the lips or anything like that. Her glosses are not sticky. They feel wonderful on the lips. I feel like they provide a good amount of hydration. I think she makes really great lip products. That being said, there's other things from the line that are great too. I recently started using the Airbrush Flawless setting spray. This is a wonderful setting spray. It definitely keeps things on a lot longer. And if you are a powder foundation novice, this would definitely be a great way to make the powder foundation blend into your skin a little bit better at the end of, finishing your makeup up. Definitely worth investing in a setting spray that you really like to make that look a little bit more flawless on your skin. But yeah, she's got a great selection of products. Also, there's other lip shades of hers that I like as well. Very Victoria is gorgeous as well. This is more of it's like a mauve taupe type shade, I guess I would say. And then the other one that I really enjoy as well, although I feel like this one is a little too warm for me, but it's still really nice. It's the JK Magic lipstick. So this one is more of a pinky nude, but it does have quite a bit of a brown undertone, and it can sometimes look a little too warm on me, but I do still think that this is really, really nice. But yeah, just Charlotte Tilbury, I think great line overall, and I've really enjoyed pretty much everything that I've tried from her. And I look forward to seeing what she releases this year as well. There's just a lot of great things to choose from. So yeah, honestly, there's so many more things that I want to mention to you guys, but I figured this would be kind of a good kind of cross selection of brands that I really enjoy and that I've used a number of things from that I would absolutely highly recommend. Lots of really great things out there, and I look forward to definitely trying some new makeup this year, but also continuing to enjoy these favorites that I have in front of me here. Will I ever finish an entire eyeshadow palette? Probably not. Will I still be buying eyeshadow palettes this year? Probably. I think it's fun to play with makeup. And again, I think do what makes you happy when it comes to your makeup. If you really enjoy highlighting your whole face, you should do that. If you really enjoy wearing a bright red lipstick every single day of your life, you should do that. If you love winged eyeliner, go for it. Just do what makes you happy and just enjoy it. It's supposed to be something that's fun. Of course, it's totally frivolous and unnecessary, but if it's something that makes you feel better and more confident about yourself, then you should do it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch today. Let me know what your favorites in terms of makeup was for 2020 down below in the comments. I will put links for everything mentioned here in the description box down below. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.